Welcome to the Rob and Caleb podcast. Welcome to the Rob and Cale podcast. Rob Sanders.
Clemson is going to kick the shit out of the South Carolina Gamecocks probably for the next 10 years every time they run across each other.
Cale Carolina Jackpot Hall.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are weaker than a plate full of piss.
The Rob and Cale podcasts.
Let's go.
And welcome into the Rob and Cale podcast. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, call Boss Hog, call Roscoe P. Coltrane. If we were the Duke boys, I think I would be Bo Duke. My podcast partner, he would be Luke Duke. We will call him Carolina Jackpot Cale Hall. What's up, buddy?
I can guarantee you that neither one of our fat asses would be sliding through the welded shut door of that old Dodge Charger. But good evening.
Well,
how you
I do think that our fat asses would trying to have some relations with Daisy Duke, by God.
Maybe in 1998, but
in 1998.
Not today. No.
Well, anyway, it's great to have you back here on the show, Jackpot. All of the two of us together.
Yeah, we back like we never left. Mr. Sanders was under the weather last Wednesday, and then Sunday night I had to work. So, but we're back tonight, and should be smooth sailing here for a while until I have to work on Sunday again. Hopefully not for a while.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the folks that are joining us on the show.
Excuse me.
Bless you, sir.
Allergies. Jesus.
It is.
I've been off. I was off 2 days. I was off Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of yard work, and I had to wear one. I wore one of those COVID masks on Monday afternoon because I had some old ones left over.
Mm-hmm.
I put that on because it's so bad this year. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I want to give a shout out to the folks that are joining us this evening. It's awesome of you guys to show up. And we're probably going to piss some people off tonight, Jackpot. We're going to rank some coaches here from the SEC. And we'll talk about some of the other stuff that's over there. Cam Scott is going to stay home and go play for the Gamecocks. Good for him. We'll talk about that and a lot of other good things as we roll along this evening here.
I noticed that tonight, sorry to interrupt, that Chase Hunter declared for the NBA draft.
Right.
And so he's gone.
He says he's declaring, but he's not giving up his eligibility. I think he's getting horrible advice.
What the hell does that mean? How can you do that?
PJ Hall did it last year. You go through the draft process, but you don't hire an agent. Is the way
does that only work in basketball?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I've never heard of that in football.
Nope.
So when they're gone, they're gone.
This comes back to what I said about Brad Brownell. You had an Elite 8 team this year. Your entire team is gone except for what is it that you call the chef? You had a special name for him. I can't remember. Your entire
Lurch.
Your entire team's gone except for Lurch. Everybody else is transferred. So you have no clue what you're going to have as a program next year for Clemson. And I get frustrated because people are like, yeah, Brownell he put that team together. Yeah, it took him fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
We're supposed to just go to the tournament every 5 years? Is it too much to ask to be one of the best 68 teams in the country every year? It's
South Carolina and Clemson should be. It's unrealistic to think you're going to be in it every year, but the South Carolina and Clemson should both be in that tournament at least every other year.
That's a fair statement, but how about this? You should win 20 games a year. I don't think that's that far-fetched. You play
you got like probably 12 games
right
before your conference schedule starts. Right. That should be layups.
Right. So people get upset with me when I talk about that, and they're like, "Oh, you're not on the Clemson train." No, it has nothing. I am sorry that I care more about Clemson hoops than you do. Okay, because I want them to be better than what they are. But we've decided, and I say we because the Tiger Paw is all of us, that Brad Brownell is just good enough. He's going to come there, and we'll have something to watch after the football season's over, and maybe we'll be a little bit competitive. Maybe we could beat North Carolina once every 40 years at their spot. Maybe we can do something like that every now and then. We all can be happy. It's pussy-fied the way that some people look at Clemson hoops. Now with South Carolina, you know what? I loved Frank Martin, but this Lamont Paris hire is looking like it's a hell of a lot better hire than what Clemson did with Brownell he's been there 14 years now. But I thought getting rid of Frank Martin was a big deal. It was going to suck, but Paris has come in there and he's developed that word jackpot, that culture where he's trying to do what the final boss, The Rock, did, making wrestling cool again. He's making Gamecock basketball cool. He's got this kid from Lexington that the Cam Scott kid decided, you know what, I'm going to stay here. He could have went anywhere. Now I'm going to stay here in Columbia. That's how you build a program like that.
I think, he's got kids that want to play for him because of the way he treats them and because of the way he runs his team. I think Frank Martin, I think some of the kids wanted to play for him because of who he was and his, I mean, he's done some good things in the past. I don't know. I think maybe also, lots of parents like to give kids tough love. I'm wondering if some of these kids' parents didn't push them towards playing for him because, he doesn't let people cut out a line, that's for sure. But
I have to ask you, Jackpot. Octavian is here. Do you want to let Octavian on?
In a minute.
All right, we'll get to Octavian.
Get him in here, toke over the show right off the bat.
All right. Yeah, Jerry says you can't be soft and play for Frank Martin. I'm with you on that. I think Frank Martin is a leader of men. I really believe that. I think Frank Martin, but I also think that you can make an argument that Frank Martin's teams are beat up so bad because he practiced the fuck out of them, where early March they were in trouble, So there's that too. Well, all right, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that we've had a lot of Gamecock coaches in practice. Basketball coaches has always been kind of a up in the air thing. We had the coach. What was the coach's name that I liked? That was back in the late '80s. That got fired for coming to practice after he would drink a case of Natural Light.
Steve Newton? Was it Newton?
No, Felton.
Felton. There we go.
He played for us. I mean, I thought he was a good coach. I mean, they had some good seasons under him. But he was a drunk. Anyway, I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, enough about hoops talk. Let's talk some
He
football,
was,
Jack.
he was sitting out there drinking a natural light while Joe Morrison was fucking somebody in the shower.
Yeah. Look, I goof about Joe Morrison fucking whores in the shower. Look, those guys fucking laid their ass out there for Joe Morrison. So if whatever it takes for that to happen, you want to bang whores in the shower, as long as you're not fucking kids, I don't give a fuck. Bang them whores in the shower. You want them snorting lines off your dick, as long as we go a decent record, give the man the cocaine. Who gives a shit? That's where I'm at with all this stuff, man. Leaders of men, that's what we need now. It's got a bunch of pussies running around now. All right, so I tell you what, let's go. We said we're going to rank some coaches, Jackpot. You want to get started with that?
This was off of the Uncle Lou rankings. It kind of inspired me to do this. I kind of went over and did a video about a month or so ago about some SEC coach ranking that some sports writer had put out there, and what I agree with and what I disagree with. And I said, well, why not? Let's rank them here ourselves. I mean, what else is there to do?
Uncle Lou, welcome to the program. You inspired Jackpot and I this evening, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and that. It is Uncle Lou here, finally making a return to my favorite call-in show. How
Awesome.
you guys doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
I never better.
Yeah, good. Man, that makes me happy. I'm happy to hear that. Great summer coming up here. I'm excited.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
we're all excited.
So what are we doing? I just tuned in. I said I'm not going to wait. As soon as I tune in, I'm clicking the link. So what are we discussing today?
Well, we were inspired by your coaches rankings for the SEC that you put out in one of the fine videos on your channel. So we decided that we would do that ourselves.
Where was I wrong?
I don't think that I have to look. I think Jackpot and I are going to go back and forth, and we'll see where our rankings compare to
mine
yours.
are a little bit different, but
I don't really have, like, I wouldn't, you know how I did an exact ranking and a tiered list of them?
Yes.
So I'm not going to argue if like in my second tier, I've got Brian Kelly, Sarkisian, and DeBoer. Right. So if y'all have that order different, I get it. There's arguments either way. So I don't know. I don't even know. We might not even have nothing to argue over. Of course, Kirby's number one. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's any disputing that. I think it shakes down after that. So, who's going to be 2 through 6 is, I think, going to be the more of the debate than who's number 1.
Yeah, I had DeBoer too. I think there's arguments for Brian. I mean, Brian Kelly's been doing it longer than anybody, really. I think, longer than anybody in the SEC. I mean,
and
15 years.
He's been in a variety of different places too.
Yeah, but just going to the Power 5, he's been there about 15 years in the Power 5, 12, 13, whatever. But 0-8 major postseason. I mean, how many chances do you need? Like, you got to win one of these things.
Got to win one to be considered one of the best. So
winless in conference, 0-2 in conference championship games, 0-1 in national championship games, 0-3, I believe, in New Year's Six games, and 0-2 in playoff games. I mean, you got to win something at some point, besides a Week 6 game or something, don't you?
That's pretty tough.
It is pretty tough. Yeah.
I've got him high because it ain't easy to average. It ain't easy to coach in the Power 5 for 12, 13, 14 years, whatever, and average 10, 11 wins a year. Like, that's impressive. He's Mark Richt.
No, he's the winningest coach ever at Notre Dame.
He's Mark Richt without the conference titles. I mean, that's what he is. Mark Richt averaged 10 wins a year for 15 years. That's Brian Kelly. But Mark Richt had two conference titles. So Brian Kelly, wherever you rank Mark Richt in the all-time coaching list, and we're not going to get into that, Brian Kelly will be right below that.
I think that's fair. I'm going over Rick's stuff in my head. That's about right. Yep.
My thing with DeBoer and Sark is that they've played twice in the last 2 years, and DeBoer beat them both times with less talented teams. So I had DeBoer 2, Sarkisian 3, Kelly 4.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to go back and forth and see where we end up. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where we'll end up for the lion's share of the rankings here.
Rank these for me. Rank these right here: Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Eli Drinkwitz. Rank those three.
Kiffin,
in that order.
Yeah, Kiffin, Drink. I go Kiffin, Drinkowitz, and then
Heupel.
No, I would say do it in the order that it just came out of your mouth.
Yeah, those were tough. Those three were tough for me to rank too.
Well,
and then where do you slide Mark Stoops in? Would you put Mark Stoops in with somewhere amongst those three, Lane, Heupel, and Drink?
I'm going to get into that one later in my case for him. But I have him ranked higher than you did, just simply based on his body of work. Now, I agree. It does seem like he's kind of hit a ceiling, and he hasn't leveled the program up anymore than what he was on a trajectory. Like I thought I could see Kentucky in a New Year's Six game the next year, but it never happened. And then now they're still like stuck at 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in their pop year, they go 8-4 or 9-3 and don't make a New Year's Six game. Whereas Drinkwitz or even Heupel, in their pop year, they get to that 10th win and at least make a New Year's Six game. Now, I know Kentucky's a harder place to win, especially than Tennessee. Maybe we could debate between Kentucky and Missouri and like which job is harder. But it is tough there at Kentucky.
Well, Shane Beamer will tell you they can't even set up a damn proper press area if you want to listen to Beamer at Mizzou. So
I thought it was always weird, but I had heard that at Kentucky they're able to, and I don't know specifically what players it is, that they're able to kind of pick off some of the Ohio State sloppy seconds, because believe it or not, they kind of recruit some in the same area because they're really not all that far away from each other. And of course, Ohio State recruits at a higher level, but they can't take everybody.
Yeah.
So Kentucky's able to pick up some of those folks. I mean, you think it's like in two different worlds, but they're really like only a couple hundred miles apart, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you inspired us this evening, Lou. So we're gonna try our hand at it. And
are you heading back to Cherokee anytime soon?
No, boy. Let me tell you, I took the second worst gambling beating of my life last week. It was bad. I couldn't win. You remember, the scene from Vegas Vacation where no matter what Chevy Chase gambles on, he loses, and he's down so bad he ends up in that last chance casino playing like guess which number I'm thinking and shit like that. That's how I was last week. I couldn't hit on nothing. Boy, it was bad. So I'm taking a break from the gambling thing. I am headed back to Vegas the last week of May, but no gambling between now and then.
Well, let me ask a question, and it may not be in my business. How you said you get to stay Cherokee up for free? How is that?
Stay there for free?
Yeah.
Well, all casinos will do that. I mean, when you go to a casino, they have like a player's card. It's no different really than a Kroger card or anything else. You sign up at their desk or whatever. You give them your email address, and they give you what's called a player's card. And then every time you gamble, whether it's a slot machine, poker, blackjack, whatever, you give the dealer, or you slide your card in the slot machine, whatever, and it tracks how much you gamble.
Right.
And then you like there's an app.
Points.
You accumulate points. Yeah. Right. Yes.
So it's
yeah.
kind of like me scanning my Food Line MVP card.
Exactly. Right. Same
That's
idea.
Weird. But look, I was just fucking around on booking.com. I wasn't planning on going there or anything, but I was just looking around and seeing what's a hotel room for like 2 nights in Vegas, like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it was ridiculously cheap for what I thought that it would be,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hardly stay in a decent hotel room anymore for like less than $200 a night.
Oh, shit. There's hotels on the Strip in Vegas you can stay at for $50-$60 a night.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that's because they don't they want you to spend all your money there at the casino.
Right.
Yeah, they don't.
They'll give away whatever they can to get you to gamble. So everybody knows the whole free drinks deal when you're at Vegas, and they'll comp you some dinners and all kinds of stuff. They want you spending your money in the casino where they know you're going to lose it, basically.
Yep.
So yeah. Yeah, but anytime you go to a casino, it might seem like a hassle, but the first thing you should do anytime you get to a casino is go to their player's desk, find out where it is, give them your driver's license, and let them give you a player's card. Because without that player's card, you're never going to get any of those comp offers like free nights, free food, whatever.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
And you were talking when you were talking on the morning show the other day. I listened to. You were talking about this hotel or this casino they have up in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. I just saw that probably 6 months ago, and I was like, well, "Where the hell did this come from?" Because this didn't used to be here.
Yeah, I've never been there.
And I had just literally went down the same stretch of road probably a year earlier. It wasn't there. So and so it's like a pop-up deal. It's like
most of these it's an Indian casino, and most of these Indian casinos start the exact same way. First, they get the gambling license, but they don't have any money to build some kind of massive monster resort. So it starts off, a lot of times it'll start off as a bunch of trailers pushed together with the walls torn down. I mean, it starts that bad sometimes. Or they'll open up in an old abandoned grocery store or whatever. And it'll just be a scaled down version of a casino until they save up enough money to start building what then becomes a massive resort somewhere, which is exactly what happened in Cherokee, North Carolina. 20 years ago, it didn't look anything like what it looks today up in Cherokee. It's one of the biggest casinos in the world today, Cherokee. It's huge. It's massive.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I remember going up there back in like 1995, 96 with my friends, and it was fairly large, but I don't remember a lot. It must have been 96. I don't remember a lot about it because we were kind of crazy back then, and I didn't have any plans to go there. Matter of fact, I wasn't even thinking anything about it. We were hanging out at one of my friends' dad's house, and I had a liter of Southern Comfort, and I turned it up and had evidently, it was on a Friday night, had polished off most of this bottle of Southern Comfort. Well, I wake up and it's nighttime and it's cold, and I'm in the back of my pickup truck, in the bed of my pickup truck, laying down. And so I fall back asleep. Next thing I know, we're at a McDonald's. And I'm like, well, where are we at? And my other three friends are just laughing at me. I'm like, okay, y'all hijacked my truck. I'm drunk. I'm in the back of my truck and we're at a damn McDonald's. I don't know where we're at. I'm like, where are we? Where are we at? And I'm asking people in the park, I'm like, where are we? And they're just looking at me like I'm crazy. So I look up at the newspaper machine over by the door to McDonald's that says Asheville Citizen Times. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing in Asheville? And they're like, shut, boy, we're going to damn Cherokee. And I'm like, I ain't going to damn Cherokee. Yes, you are, because you ain't driving nowhere. So I ended up going the rest of the way to Cherokee, back in the bed of the pickup truck, and I passed out again. And I woke back up at that damn casino in the parking lot, and then I eventually wandered inside it. So that was a strange trip. That was my Cherokee. Remember absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of fun up there. There ain't nothing else to do there in Cherokee. I mean, it's a tiny little town with nothing to do. I mean, it's about 45 minutes from Gatlinburg. So like when we were there last week, we got up in the morning and drove one day and spent the whole day in Gatlinburg. It's about 20 minutes from Maggie Valley. There's some stuff to do around Cherokee, but as far as in Cherokee itself, it's the casino and that's it. There's nothing else there.
Yeah, that damn road from there to Gatlinburg is like nothing but one huge curve.
Yeah, it's closed half the time. I mean, if it's raining or cloudy or snowing at all, they close that road down.
Don't ever get on that road when it's in the fall when people are looking at the leaves. By God,
yeah,
we'll be there for hours.
Yeah, you will. Hey, there's something I've been bothering me. Figured now would be a good time to ask you about it, Jackpot. But you made a video a while back about your new job and that. Which, by the way, is that going good?
It's okay.
Okay. My concern is you working Saturdays, Lo. That was my concern because for purely selfish reasons. was worried I might not be able to get to see you watch South Carolina games, which is one of the highlights of my football season every year, as you're well aware.
I'm honest with you. I don't even know if I'm going to still be doing that by football season. But if I am, we're talking through some things and brokering some stuff where I'll probably work a lot of Fridays and Sundays.
Well, if you need me to call them and make them some sort of an offer they can't refuse or whatever the deal is, you just let me know.
Like take some people's Friday nights, and some people's Sundays, because I don't really give a shit about the NFL. And
Right.
Friday nights, I mean, there are college games on, obviously, on Friday nights, but it's nothing I can't do without. It's very rare that there's we don't have those marquee matchups on Friday nights.
No, and I mean, if it's a choice between watching some MAC game on Friday and watching South Carolina on Saturday, that ain't much of a choice.
It's a no-brainer.
It really is. Lucky for you, it's a no-brainer.
I'm working Saturday. I'm working this Saturday night. I'm gonna miss the spring game, and it's live for them.
I'm just kidding, Jackpot. We all know you're the smartest college football YouTuber on the internet.
Shit. So they say. Nah.
Holy shit.
Does that hat say American Lawrence? I just noticed that. I thought it said American Badass when I first came on,
No,
but I see it now. Okay. That's great. I love that. Oh boy. Anyway, Clemson's down bad. The transfer portal's open again. Has anyone told Dabo?
No, Dabo doesn't.
I saw a lot of their fans crowing on the internet about this Andrew Paul feller. Last night I was trying to type that in the chat on your live stream, and I'm looking like, what the hell is going on with this thing? And it says this chat is opened in subscriber only mode. So if you're only a subscriber, you can send chats. I'm like, I've been a damn subscriber to this channel for 10 years. I'm like, why can't I send a damn thing? And it says I'm not subscribed. So I'm hitting okay, well, maybe I clicked something. So I'm hitting the subscribe thing and it keeps popping off. And I would try to send a chat and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to damn bed. YouTube's fucked up tonight.
That's what it was. There was all kinds of people commenting, having the same problem you were having.
Everybody was putting it there.
Some sort of glitch.
But this Andrew Paul guy that hit the portal from Georgia, evidently at one time Clemson recruited him. And so a lot of their fans are thinking that maybe he's coming there. But then again, they remembered who their coach is.
I think he could be a good one. I mean, I didn't want to lose him. Now, I don't think it's the end of the world for Georgia. Brought Etienne in and he got Branson Robinson and Roderick Robinson. But I think Andrew Paul could have been good. And I still think he will be good wherever he goes.
Look, I'm the Clemson fan that'll tell you Clemson is doomed to be a 9-3 football team for a while now because Sweeney's not going to use that portal. And it's more of one of those things of, just fuck you, I'm not doing it. That's just the way that he thinks. And until he either broadens his mind or someone shows him the door, that's where Clemson's going to be. A 9-3 football team every year. They may balloon up and be 10-2 or whatever, but 9-3 is where they're going to be until he starts using it.
Yeah, so we know Georgia's a giant L for the Taters, but who else might they lose to?
I can't say shit to you when you say Clemson's down because they're a program in decline. They are just like that, and we're watching it, and we have to watch it until they does something about it. But look, they could lose. I think I got to look at the rest.
Well, they don't play Duke this year, so that's a good
right.
thing.
They don't play Duke, but they've got the Georgia game. I said as a loss. I think that whatever Georgia has for the spread, they'll cover it, and then they can move down from there. They're not going to lose to South Carolina because South Carolina is going to be a shit show this year, but there are games on there they could lose. So
I mean, I can see them lose. I can see them losing at Tech, Virginia Tech, not Georgia State.
Yeah, if that's a night game, they could lose there.
At Florida State.
They could lose at Florida State too. Yep. I mean,
NC State.
We're going to win there anymore. Yeah, and then NC State. That fucking idiot Dorns had Dabo's number here lately.
Yeah, but
I don't understand why Clemson fans hate Dave Durr so much. It's just funny to me.
NC State doesn't win in Clemson.
Pete wouldn't piss on Dave Duren if he was on fire. It's so funny to me to hate. I don't know why. I guess I don't get it because I'm not a Clemson fan, but it's funny to me the hatred that Clemson has for Dave Duren.
When Beamer gets fired, I'd love to see him come be the new coach at South Carolina. They could really hate his ass now.
The whole thing with the taking the stealing towels, and he's bitching about a social media kid on the sideline getting images, and he's like, "Oh, they're cheating with that."
It was something with a laptop.
Yeah, he was doing social media with a laptop like every other damn program does. And then you've got the thing with the bowl game where it's like he takes the team out to the bowl game. They don't play whoever the hell it was they're supposed to play. He declares themselves champions and takes the fucking trophy home with him because the other team opted out for COVID.
It was the coach. It was the UCLA.
Oh, we didn't play. They didn't play. They didn't show up, so we win. Yay!
They beat UCLA in the Holiday Bowl by 4
That's
true. That was in one of their hype video. Devin Leary was showing people around their training facility. They had a trophy.
We didn't fucking play a down for. We just went out there and did some reps. But hey, here's our. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy forever, man. I can't stand that clown. Seriously. I mean, God, he's just such a doofus. And all of his press conferences are the same. And at ACC kickoff, when I think it was 4 seasons ago, like he's sitting down to do an interview. Dabo Sweeney walks in, right? Walks past the desk where Lawton Swan and I are from Clemson Sports Talk are sitting. And as soon as Dabo Sweeney walks in, this guy stands up and he's like putting his shoulders back like he's going to line up and do something. And Sweeney, of course, is a dumbo. He's just like, what the fuck ever. He's shaking hands and everything. And Doran's eyeballing him, eye fucking him from the other side of the radio row. Like he's wanting to throw hands with Dabo Sweeney with all of us radio doofuses. And it's like, what are you doing, clown? And he's telling
Dabo
get out of here.
Well, Dabo has the Lord on his side. So who do you think Dave Doran had in his corner?
Dave Doran's just a fucking douche.
Yeah, but State doesn't win in Clemson. They haven't won in Clemson since 2002. So
I don't know. I can't stand Dave Doran. I hope he trips on that fake trophy he's got. I really do. So there you go. I know. And Lou, you're correct. It's just one of those things. Being a Clemson fan, I have to see that idiot every year. Oh, I can't stand him. Can't stand him. Absolutely can't stand him. Yeah.
I think, and I might be making a bold take here. It is a bold take. But I have a dark horse candidate, a dark horse for the ACC championship game, and that's SMU.
Yeah, I think they're good too.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, they don't. I think their toughest game is Florida State. They don't play Clemson. So, I mean, they were pretty dominant in the what was it, American Athletic they were in. So, I mean, they put up a lot of points. I don't know about their ability to stop anybody, but they can damn sure score.
I don't know if they have enough depth to compete long term right now, but I think they're going to be. I think they're the best of the new teams coming into the conference.
Oh, without question.
Yeah. So
Rob and I are going to go to the Clemson Stanford game.
Yeah.
If the Gamecocks are off.
Yeah, we're gonna go watch Clemson in the tree. Why not?
I'm gonna dress up as a tree.
That ought to be good.
I'm gonna look like a Japanese maple, short, squatty, and red.
We walk you past the correct fraternity. They may try to light you up and smoke you, jackpot.
Well, that would be a hair-raising experience.
There you go. Yeah, I'm with you on that. We need to go to that game. I'll try to get us tickets, jackpot. Hoghead with a super chat. What do you guys think of the NC State Tennessee matchup in week 2? I hope they both lose. There you go.
I mean, I think Tennessee will be favored, but
Can they both opt out for COVID? Well, if they do, then if they do that, then fucking Dorn's gonna claim that trophy.
That's a neutral site game in Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charlotte desperately needs a new football stadium, but I don't know. I guess maybe the first order of business would be getting a team that's worth a shit.
Yeah, they could try that first. So,
All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here.
appreciate
Lou.
you, Lou. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thanks for having me on, man. I missed you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.
You're always welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, bye.
Didn't you weren't the Panther weren't there some talks at one time about building a stadium in Rock Hill or in that area?
They were building their training center, and the Panthers owner is a douche, and he didn't get he thought he was going to get these big tax breaks from Rock Hill, and Rock Hill basically told him to fuck off, so he stopped with the building. He just said, fuck it, we're just going to stop building. He built like half of it or something, and then just said, no, we're not doing it. So I think my best Panthers thing is the old owner. What was the old owner's name? I can't remember. The one who had a thing. No, it wasn't George.
Jerry Richardson.
So Jerry Richardson, apparently, remember, he had the issue with women and feet and everything else. He had a nice he had a thing for women's feet or whatever. That was part of the thing he was screwed up with. But he was saying he had like a big fuck you clause in his thing when he sold the team that you cannot take down my statue as long as you're at this stadium or whatever. So you walk into the stadium and there's this nice statue of him standing there, even after all the stuff of him messing with feet and everything else. He's like, yeah, you can't get rid of that statue. And Tepper had to say that at the first press conference, like, yeah, we can't do anything to take down the statue.
Didn't his family or him or he or his company or something, didn't they like own Denny's or?
No, he owned a bunch of Hardee's restaurants that he owned. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he apparently was a douche behind the scenes, but I like the fuck you clause at the end of it.
I'm still mesmerized. I'm still mesmerized by the feet.
Yeah. It was a whole thing about he had like a thing for women's feet and they had to shave their legs or whatever. I mean, it was, we don't know how much of it was true. He paid a lot of money to shave.
We know one that would have a problem with that. Chris Foster says, bring back Heritage USA to Rock Hill. That was a crazy. Did you ever go there?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that was the Heritage USA was the big Christian theme park.
The one with Jim Baker, right?
Yeah, Jim and Tammy Baker owned they started the PTL club, and they had like their own Christian theme park there in Fort Mill, right across the state line or near Carowinds. And it wasn't really, I don't think like they had rides and shit like that, but it was more like a resort for families. And they've had like some water slides and pools and stuff like that. But I went there one time with my parents. It was probably around 85-ish, maybe. But we went up there to see the Christmas lights. They have a big Christmas light display, and it was really pretty. That you ride through this big thing, and there's lights everywhere. But yeah, from what I understand, like some of the ruins of it are like still there.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works up there. I mean, I never went there. We went to Carowinds. They were talking about that. It's one of those things like I've lived here and I haven't taken my kids to Carowinds. So that's on the bucket list this summer, is to take the kids to Carowinds and show them, hey, that used to be Smurf Island when I was a kid. Now it's some douche cartoon that you watch. But
Billy Cole says, is Carowinds still around?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't have the Thunder Road roller coaster anymore. They took that down, but
really,
they got rid of it. It was they got rid of it.
Unsafe. It was wooden.
It was the world's best wooden roller coaster, whatever title they had.
Yeah, I rode that thing backwards.
Mm-hmm. You get drunk and ride that. It's pretty cool.
There's a nice theme park out in the middle of Pennsylvania that we'll be going to this summer. It's called Knoebels. And it's got this. I mean, this place has this huge parking lot. It's just I don't know, probably 100 acres large, but none of it is paved. I mean, it's all dirt. I mean, but it's really cool. They've got some old wooden coasters there. They've got this big old swimming pool right in the middle of the place. Like it's called the Crystal Pool. It's like from the 40s or 50s, and they've still got all these original old like lockers and stuff from that era where you go in and put your clothes and you can pay whatever and spend the day at the Crystal Pool. But the thing about this place is you can buy a pass, or it's not like you can either buy a pass, you can just like you can actually pay at the rides to ride them. So it's kind of like old fashioned. It's a like a combination between the fair and the amusement park, the modern day amusement park. So.
All right, before we get into this coaching rankings, I want to take Schultz real quick, and then we'll get Octavian in here, but then we'll do our coaches rank. Let's do Schultz first. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good to see you, man. How are you?
Doing great. So, Jackpot, you're not as sold on Beamer now, or
We're getting into that.
Oh, I wasn't sold on him when they hired him. I gave him a chance. He's kind of, it's kind of this is kind of prove it time for me. It's either put up or shut up this year.
I think he's all right. I mean, he's got a lot of pressure next year, but one thing I think we can all agree on, I mean, is he's better than Napier, because I saw some idiot was saying that Napier is 2-0 against him, so Napier should be ranked ahead of him when they were.
Well, my thing with that is Napier has had better recruiting classes. So if we just put them block A and block B and said this coach is 2-0 against him, and as far as the head-to-head matchup, and he's gotten better recruiting classes than this other coach, I could see where you can make the argument. But I think that Napier has marbles in his brain, and it's hard for me to rank him ahead of Shane Beamer. It's just hard because I think he's that much of a dope. But
Beamer's done a lot more than Napier has. I mean, he's in his first 2 years. Napier hasn't done anything.
He had one good season, sir. I mean, just being honest with you.
I can't hear you guys. It's breaking up on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. We can hear you fine. I mean, he had one great season. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But I mean, Napier's just a dope.
Well, I mean, because you can't just say a head coach. You can't just say he's better all because he's 2-0 against him, because that's like saying Butch Jones was better than Steve Spurrier all because he went 2-0 against Spurrier.
No, but
that's not.
Recruiting's important, and I think that the recruiting classes they've been rated higher. If I'm making a case for Napier, but when I just look at Napier, I'm just like, fuck that guy. I just can't. I don't see how he's that good of a coach. I really can't. So,
and they did put Freeze one spot ahead of Beamer, and I'm all like, why'd they put Freeze one spot? Freeze hasn't done anything. Got smoked by New Mexico State year one.
Yeah,
I don't get what's all with this hype with Hugh Freeze. I mean, okay, I think he's going to be all right, but they can't currently rank him ahead of Beamer, but they have him one spot ahead of Beamer. And I'm not saying
you got to take into account everything he's done in his career. I mean, he's one of only 3 coaches to beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's also because he was buying all those players that time.
Well, he just got caught. I mean,
no,
he was number 1 with the horse too, wasn't he? He had to go and find.
He was the one that had the burner phone and all that crap.
Yeah.
The what?
He had a burner
phone at Ole Miss. He had a bunch of prostitutes that he was.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Horse. He was big with the horse. All right, man. We got to get our rankings out there. Thank you, Schultz.
All right, yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's get Octavian in quickly here. Octavian, what do you got, buddy?
What's going on, y'all?
What's up?
Spit it out, friend. What you
Man, I wanted to get on with Uncle Lou, man. I wanted to tell thank you for joining the Hot Top Sports, man. I really enjoyed them on the Hot Top Sports thing. You Tennessee fans, y'all don't have no defense. I just want to let this is my daily message to the Tennessee fans. Y'all don't have no defense, no defense. Y'all sorry as hell. You're soft and pansy. That offense, I just don't like them.
Okay, well that's noted, sir.
But
You
anyway,
don't like who the team, or you don't like their defense?
I don't like the team they have this year. Honestly, I think they win 7 games. 75 to Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee's going 75.
They got a pretty point
Yeah,
taken. They've got a pretty easy schedule as SEC schedules go.
yeah, but I just don't see it.
All right, Octavian, thank you for hanging out, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you.
buddy. Go Gators.
All right, there
I
you
think
go.
I think Tennessee. I think they have Mississippi State and Arkansas, both on the schedule, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, well, Jackpot, let's rank these coaches. We agree at 16. It's Levy at Mississippi State, right?
Well, but you can't really. You can't even rank the guy. It's like Lou was saying in his rankings. I mean, he hasn't been a head coach, so there's really nothing to go on there.
So we're going to start at 15 then. So the idea is that you pick it one and then I pick one, right? We go back and forth.
Yeah, number 15. I'm going to go with Clark Lee at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's where I would have went, and I think it's simply because Vanderbilt's a shit program.
They've got academic requirements, and although it seems like they've they've picked up some pretty dumb players the past few years. So that idiot that was from Lawrence, what did he commit to South Carolina out of the portal, and then told everybody he's not going to any visits, and he lied, and he went to Boston College, and then looked like a huge dumbass when the coach quit on him. And I don't know, but I mean, he did. He won a couple of SEC games. Not this past year, season before, although he wasn't supposed to. So everybody was real high on him going into 2023. And I told people, don't you? Their over under was like 3.5 or something. I said take the under, and I don't think they win an SEC game. And damn it, they finished 2-10.
Yeah.
So
we agree on Lee. That's
Andy
fair.
Dandy says he's the joke. I liked Derek Mason. I really thought he got kind of a shitty deal there. I thought he did a good job for what he had, but that's been a while back. So
yeah. All right. Well, at 14, then I'm gonna go with yes, sir, Mr. Sam Pittman at Arkansas. That guy's in over his head. He should have gotten fired last year. Arkansas football at one point when they had Houston Nutt and even Bobby Petrino, who's their offensive coordinator now, was their head coach. When he was out banging volleyball players and riding his bike, they were pretty good. Now they're the West Coast version of the West Division version of Vanderbilt, even though we don't have the West anymore. I stick with Pittman at 14.
Yeah, I'm going with Pittman too, and I wouldn't have ranked him this low last year. But he did have a pretty bad season, 4-8, fell off a lot. His first year there was the COVID year. They went 3-7, won 3 SEC games, but they were pretty competitive against like Georgia. They got fucked out of a game against Auburn if you remember that one. And they were competitive in a couple of other ones, and then they went like 9-4, I think, and then 6, maybe 7-6. So they've regressed a little bit. He's definitely on the hot seat. Those Arkansas people expect a little bit more out of that football program. If you see over the past, circle of coaches they've had the past 10, 15 years, they last about 4 years and then they gone. I mean, Brett Bielema, 4 years, and he's gone. Then Chad Morris, 4 years, and he's gone. And then looks like, we're headed down the same road here.
All right, well, you get to pick 13 here, Jackpot. Which way you rolling?
Shit. I'm gonna put Shane Beamer at 13.
Ooh, okay. Well, that makes me.
And then we'll get to the guys ahead of him that you might
Right.
think I would put him ahead of, and I'll get to why I have him ranked there. Um, he has look. I mean, I think he's recruited well for what South Carolina is. I think he's elevated the culture, made it a little bit more positive. The kind of goofiness and I don't know the kind of just not taking it that seriously approach to me just kind of I don't really care for. I didn't really care for like last year all the excuse making. I've already said before that I don't care for the inability in my mind to hold the right coaches accountable for what's being screwed up on Saturdays. I don't think he does a very good job of that. That's just me. I'm just a dumbass yelling into my phone though. I don't know. But that but then on the flip side, there's the culture thing. People seem to like playing for him. I mean, genuinely think he's a good guy who I really want to see succeed. I really do. I want to see him succeed. I would love to eat the biggest plate of crow ever. I'd dip it in hot sauce to get it down, but I would eat it if he could do the job. But I just don't think. I mean, you got to look back. What's his biggest accomplishments? Really, are he's won 4 games during his time at South Carolina as a double digit. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's either 4 or it's 3, and one of them was extremely close to being double digits. As a double digit dog against Auburn and Florida in 21 and Clemson and Tennessee in
Right.
22. So he's done some, and there's been some positives there. But I mean, then there's been some negatives too. In 2022, getting blown out at Florida by a terrible team, getting blown out at home by Mizzou to a shitpo team, having Georgia State running up and down the damn field against you. I mean, it's been having North Carolina get 9 sacks. North Carolina probably didn't have 9 sacks combined the whole entire damn season before that.
Well, a lot of that makes sense, Jackpot. Well, since you putting, I'm going to be honest with you. At 13, I have the guy now that I have at 12 because I had Shane Beamer at 12. So my bringing up to 12, I'm going to go with Billy Napier here. And that's because, you pick, I pick. You put South Carolina, Shane Beamer there. Billy Napier's right above him. And the logic says, look, he hasn't really won shit as far as, big games down there in Florida. A lot of it has to do with his recruiting. I mean, this past season, the 2024 class is ranked 14th overall. And compared to 22 for South Carolina. And when you look back, it's about the same across the board. He does recruit better than Beamer does. I just think he's a douche. So I'm moving him up from 13 to 12. Since
you think Dave Doran's a douche too, but that doesn't mean he can't coach football.
I tell you what, I'll take Dave Doran as a coach over Billy Napier right now.
Okay.
Does that make you feel any better? I think he's got marbles in his brain, marbles in his mouth when he talks. He is just terrible.
Vandy Dandy says Derek Mason got paid $35 million from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was that's interesting. I didn't know that. I you don't ever hear about the Vanderbilt coach's salary because they don't really make it public like that.
All right. Well, who do you have at 11, Jackpot? Since
that's my 12. My 12 now. You just did 13. At my 12, I've got Billy Napier at number 12. I took into account, yes, I know he's been kind of a failure at Florida. His 2 biggest wins were against Utah in 2023 or 2022 and Tennessee last year. Imagine one of your biggest wins being against Tennessee. Jesus. But I'm also taking into account what he did at Louisiana Lafayette. 4 years he was head coach there. He either was first place or tied for first place in the Western Division of that Sun Belt Conference every single year. He was 40-12. I mean, he did a heck of a job. And then there is the head-to-head thing with Shane Beamer. That matters.
Okay.
When you've got them that close, because they're both dinglings. But when you've got two dinglings and they're both that close, I mean, you've got to. I mean, what can we do? I mean, there's the head-to-head. I mean, he's beaten you twice. Once in blowout fashion, once in heartbreaking fashion.
All right. So that
Still, it
moves
was
us.
in some kind of fashion.
So our rankings are at 11 now, and I'm going to go with Hugh Freeze at 11.
Okay. I'm going with Mike Elko from Texas A&M at 11, and that's simply because we don't know all that much about what he's going to do as a head coach. We got a little bit of a sample size at Duke. I think he kind of rode the legs of a quarterback there that was there before he came around. And then last year, when that quarterback Riley Leonard got hurt, we saw him kind of drop off the map a little bit. You know, they were beating Clemson and almost beating Notre Dame, and then they pushed Florida State for a
Defensively,
half.
they were still good though defensively, which is his calling card.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I mean they kind of fell off there. So, well, I mean, we'll see. He's got a ton of more talent to work with at Texas A&M. So it remains to be seen what kind of job he can do. But I don't really think it's fair to place him any higher than some of the other folks on this list when we just don't really know with him.
All right. So I thought we were doing it like elimination style, going back and forth, but so I'm at number 10 now, and that's where I have Elko at 10 for me. So
Do
it's
you
kind
not
of
have an 11? Who's your 11?
my 11 was Hugh Freeze. So 16 for me.
Okay.
Lee, Pittman, Beamer, or I had Beamer ahead of Napier, but
Okay.
I thought like you would pick and then I would pick. I thought that's what we were doing. I'm sorry.
That's what we're doing. You did Hugh Freeze really quick and you didn't.
I had Hugh Freeze at 11. So
You
number
didn't add anything to it.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Hugh Freeze is that I have to see if he can actually win down there at Auburn, and he kind of hasn't. And they've just kind of come across flat. And I know that Auburn fans were happy about the way they played in the Iron Bowl, and I'm like, you still fucking lost. So, you know, he hasn't done anything to really set me on fire yet. So that's why I've got Hugh Freeze at 11. And then I think that puts us at 10, where you said that you had I'm lost on where we are now. You had Elko at 10, right?
No, Elko was number 11. I'm number 10.
Elko was 11 for you. Okay, so 10 for me then, as we move down, would be I got Venables at 10 then.
Okay.
I mean, and like people are like, oh, Rob, you know, you got the Clemson out of your head. And I think Venables is a great defensive coordinator. I just think that when you look at his team, even with Oklahoma, the way that they like he brings in players, right? But it seems like everybody transfers out. And I just don't feel it with him there. It seems like it would be a great fit. Oh, he's coming home, but like you got to remember they ran him off from there at one point. And you know, he was a stupid son of a bitch to go back, in my opinion. After they were just fucking lambasted him on the way out, and then you're gonna go back. I just don't get it. So I got Venables there at number 10 for me.
Interestingly enough, I actually have him at number 10 on my card as well.
Well, there you go.
So we agree there. I just think he just, to me, comes off as someone who would be very. He seems so intense to the point where I think he would be difficult to play for, and difficult to maybe difficult to please, and difficult to get along with, maybe. And there was a thing too that I kind of questioned when he took that job. I said, is he going to, and you know, I don't like to give any props to Clemson here or anything, so we know how that all goes. But, I mean, he didn't deal with a whole lot of adversity at Clemson in the win-loss column. He really didn't. I mean, they were losing 1-2 games a year. So, when he goes to Oklahoma and loses 4 or 5 games a year and the fan base, because he kind of got out of Clemson before,
Right.
things started kind of, dragging ass a little bit.
Well,
Maybe.
I'm with you on that, and I'm with what Matthew says over there about how he's a psycho. Yeah, I mean, I told you the story Cleveland Farrell told us on our radio show where he's like, Venables lined up with the scout team as the quarterback because he got pissed at the quarterback because they weren't getting any reps that were worth a shit and making the defense work. So he's like, fuck it, I'll line up at quarterback. And he told Christian Wilkins and Farrell and Bryant, you motherfuckers aren't going to touch me, is basically what he said. And he goes, watch, I can make this throw or whatever. Like Farrell said that he looked at Wilkins looked at him, and the idea was we're going to hit this quarterback. When there were no pads against that defensive line, they hit him, broke his nose, and he called off the rest of practice. The guy's bad. He's out of his fucking mind. So
that's nuts.
yeah. Hey, I'm going to get out there with no pads against guys that are in pads. And regardless of what you think of them, all of them are playing in the NFL. And I'm going to tell them, motherfucker, you're not going to touch me with a scout team offensive line. Are you out of your mind? I mean, I know there's the whole leading of men and all that. And yeah, it looks like he's got the biggest dick in the room. But in the end, man, he looks like shit. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
I really wasn't thinking. I really wasn't thinking that. I don't know why your mind went there, but okay.
Well, I'm up there because of the stuff in the chat where somebody said he's crazy, and you were talking about how he may be difficult to play for. That's how I got.
So crazy people have large penises. Is that
no? Crazy people go out there trying to say they have the biggest penis, and then Christian Wilkins hits you in the mouth and breaks your nose for you when you decide to try to play scout team quarterback. That's what I meant.
Well, and also on top of that, I'm not sold on the fact that Christian Wilkins might not try to show you his.
Christian Wilkins is one of the highest paid defensive players in the game. You want to go and make fun of him?
I'm not arguing that, but he was a little fruity booty. Yeah, he's still digging in that boy's butt out there for Ohio State. That was just odd.
Well, that's fine. Whatever you think, he's a great fucking player. Sorry. All right, so you had him at 10. All right, so who's next on your list there, Jackpot? At 9?
Okay, this is gonna be a little surprise. I might get a little pushback on this. At number 9, I've got Drinkwitz. I mean, this is just like one shade below halfway point, and yeah, I mean, had a really, really good season last year. I mean, if he can follow it up, then I'd move him up. But fact of the matter is, the guy had 3 losing seasons in a row before this. So, I mean, can he continue to recruit at a decent enough level to keep that going? I don't know. I think he'll probably land somewhere in between the 6-7 and the 10-1, and that's kind of where he'll end up. Or 10-2. He ain't going 10-2 every year. It's just not. But yeah. I haven't seen enough yet to put him any higher than that.
All right, so now it gets down to the nitty gritty because that was number 9 for you, right?
Yes.
All right, so I've got Stoops at Kentucky. Then that would be my next pick at 8, and I think that
Stoops. Where's your number 9?
My number 9 would have been. Let's see here. I'm looking at my numbers here. Number 9 would have been. What are you looking at? What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at you. You went straight from 10 to 8.
Well, because I thought that you had
playing hopscotch.
I thought that you had number 9, and I thought that my next one would be there. I'm sorry. I had Elko at number 9.
Okay.
And that's just because I was impressed with what he did at Duke, where he took, he developed that team. They were really good for a couple of seasons, and they did something that a lot of other teams didn't do. They went out and hit Clemson in the mouth. So they were good defensively. So I had Elko would have been my number 9.
Yeah, and I said, still, other than that, You just haven't seen a lot yet. You know, he could potentially
Right.
be higher than that.
He
Could
could be.
potentially
He
be in the
could
top
be.
half,
He'll have
especially with the
everything.
top. With
I think
the
he'll have everything at A&M that he didn't have at Duke. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. He's got, you know, if he's into building sandcastles, he's got a beach a mile long at
Yeah.
Texas A&M with
That's
sand to
fair.
play with. So
All right. So who's next on your list?
okay, coming in for me at number 8, I've got Hugh Freeze. So he's right smack dab in the middle. I know a lot of people don't really agree with that, but I mean he is a really good offensive mind. He was 39-25 at Ole Miss. That was on the field. Of course, the record they had to vacate a lot of wins there. Kind of got some shit going there. I understand that he was just dumb enough to get caught. I believe vehemently everybody cheats. He's 80-54 for his career. 34-15, I think it looks like at Liberty.
Right.
Yeah, and then back-to-back wins over Nick Saban. I mean, he's done some really good things. Yeah, so I can't put him any higher than that because he hasn't won at a high level back at Auburn. He doesn't have him back yet, but I think that he's going to get him there. I mean, last year, I mean, he almost beat Auburn. I mean, he almost beat Alabama. He almost beat Georgia. I mean, yeah, I know he lost to New Mexico State. I mean, that was a pretty good team. It wasn't like he was going out there losing to a 4-8 shithole. But I mean, still, there's no excuse for losing to a Power Five team if you're Auburn, especially at home. But um, give him time. He inherited a shitter too.
That's
A
fair.
mess.
All right. Where are you at on your list? Because you're up next.
That was my number 8. Who's your number 8?
Number 8 for me was Drinkowitz, and
Okay.
I would have Drinkowitz higher, but Drinkowitz has had one good season, and now it was a great season. But here's the thing with Drinkowitz, you have to give him credit for the way that he's developed players. There's projections he's going to have like 2 or 3 guys in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, which is not something we've heard from Mizzou in a while. So I think there's that. I think developing Brady Cook to where Cook is now, the way that he's been able to also keep kids like Luther Burden, who, could have said, hey, I could probably go anywhere.
He could have gone anywhere. Exactly.
Right. But he kept him there. I mean, he got him to Mizzou, and Mizzou, let's be honest, is not the beacon of everything when it comes to football, but he got him to come there and got him to stay. So you have to give him credit for that. That's
a point. That's a point.
Yeah, that's keeping kids there. I mean, that's a big deal because Burden could have went anywhere. But the fact that, I mean, I think he does good in develop, or his staff does a good job of developing players. That's why I had him there. But he'd be up higher, I think, because I don't think Mizzou's going to do what they did last year, but I don't think they're going to be a shitter again for a while. I really don't.
No, like I said, I think they'll land somewhere in between the 6 and 7 and the 11 and 2.
Yeah,
They're solid 8. I see them be a solid 8-9 win team year in, year out if they keep it up.
Yeah. All right, so that puts us at what, number 7, right?
Yep. My number 7 is Josh Heupel.
That's who I have too. We agree on that.
A good offensive mind, done some good things there. Had a couple of head scratching losses. Kind of not a rough first year, but he had a really good first year at Tennessee, considering what he inherited. He did a heck of a job that first year. Going from what they were 3-7, I think, in 2020, and he went to a bowl game in 2021. So can't knock him for that too much. And then follows it up with a New Year's 6 win the next year. Kind of fell off a little bit this past year. I really don't think he doesn't really use the he's not Dabo like when it comes to the transfer portal, but he doesn't really he's not really all over it like one of the guys I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes. But Yeah, they're kind of far down the list of transfer portal usage. They don't really do much with that, but they're
So
recruiting pretty well.
we both agree with Heupel at 7. Now, where are you going at 6?
Number 6, I'm putting Mark Stoops.
Yeah,
So
Stoops at Kentucky. Okay. Yeah. I think with that, though, it's kind of hard for me with Stoops because, and I know it sounds like who they played, but they play a max schedule the first 4 games every year, and they still finish 7-5, 8-4. I mean, come on, man. You got Vanderbilt on your schedule, too. You got the 4 MAC games in Vanderbilt, and those are wins every year. He's sitting at 5 wins before he knocks the first
well, he
dust
wasn't sitting at
off.
5 wins a couple of years ago because he lost to Vanderbilt.
I know, but you get what I'm saying. Traditionally, though, it's
Yeah.
kind of where it's like, all right. I mean, Kentucky's just stable. That's kind of how I look at them right now. They're just a stable program. They're not going to go out there and be a complete shithole, but they're not going to be anything that's like awesome either.
Well, no, but he's raised the caliber of player that they have there. Their fans can expect a winning record. They have an identity at least. They have good lines of scrimmage. They're going to play solid defense. Probably going to have a pretty good running game. Probably will be lacking in the quarterback department a little bit. Maybe lacking at the wide receiver department a little bit. But I mean, you know who you are. You know what you're going to get. He may
Yeah,
have. They're not playing that old max schedule this coming season, so he may have a little tougher of a road to hoe. I don't know. I haven't looked at their schedule in its
well, they open up
entirety.
like week 2 is against South Carolina, which is the toughest game they probably had in week 2 in probably 10 years. So
I'm just interested to see, because they're famous and for I put in Kentucky 2024 Kentucky, and all that comes up is the Kentucky Derby. Um, they do have a MAC game against. Let's see. They do have a MAC game against Ohio, so they're still doing that. Um, they've got Vandy. They're at Ole Miss. They play Murray State. Holy shit! Out of conference. And then the other out of conference game, of course, there's the tussle with Louisville, Southern Miss, um,
by God,
which is basically could be a MAC game.
yeah.
So yeah, they're not going to go out there. I think what we had talked it's like you go back to, I think it was 2002 or something was the last year, maybe it was 2004 was the last year outside of playing bowl games that Kentucky had played a Power Five team out of conference that was not Louisville.
So let me ask you this, Jack.
And that one was Indiana.
You were talking earlier about how the head-to-head matters. Heupel has pretty much owned that head-to-head over Stoops, but you have Stoops over Heupel.
Consider how many more resources do you have at Tennessee to win football games than you do at Kentucky?
I'm with you on that, but I mean, I'm just saying what you said earlier. The head-to-head part matters.
The head-to-head part does matter.
Okay,
but I mean, that's when we're talking about that he didn't have a whole lot of body of work on those two. He's got a pretty large body of work there. I mean, guy's been there for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So let's go next up here. We're at number 5 now. Number 5, I have Steve Sarkisian at 5.
okay, I've got Tulane Train at 5.
Yeah.
Well, he's still yet to prove to me that he hasn't won. Sarkisian's made the playoffs, so that counts for something. And Lane's won. He's won a New Year's Six game. He's showing how he's kind of drawn like a roadmap of how to use that transfer portal to your advantage. Brilliant offensive mind. Don't like him personally, but feelings don't matter here in these rankings.
My
He's
reason
doing.
I have Kiffin higher than that, but my reason that with the Sarkisian thing is that he's had all the resources that he could possibly want at Texas, and until last year he hadn't really put it together yet. So that's why I had Sarkisian at 5.
Well, he hadn't been there that long though.
Sarkisian's been at Texas for a good bit. I don't know how long he's been there. That's a good question. It just seems like he's had like
3 years, I think.
Yeah, let me see here. So he's been at Texas. He's been there since 2021. So
Yeah.
So there's that too. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't know. I don't when I see him, I don't think great coach. I know it sounds it's just a vibe thing with me. I don't think he's just great. I think he's he's a solid 7, So that's why I got him at
Sark.
Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of personal issues, especially at Southern Cal. And I'm thinking maybe he's grown up and he's probably like 50 now or something. I think maybe he's grown up and he's kind of getting past that stuff, and maybe he's coming into his own now. He's a late bloomer.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where I have
not your grandma's bloomers. He's a late bloomer.
All right, well, who do you have at 5, Jackpot?
I already told you it was Lane.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so then we move to 4.
Okay.
Who do you have at 4?
I've got Kalen DeBoer at number 4.
Yeah.
Look, is his biggest accomplishment playing in the national championship game last year, or is his biggest accomplishment landing the Alabama job? Because
I'm with you on that. I think he's a to be determined. That's where I'm at with him. To be determined.
Yeah, I can't stand to hear the whole Alabama's gonna fall apart, blah, 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 all that crap either. When you look at his record, he's done nothing but win. He was at one school for 5 years and lost 2 games.
Right.
It was an NAIA school, but he's playing other NAIA schools with NAIA talent. It all still equates. It's a win is a win, right? Had an outstanding record at Fresno State, and he goes to Washington, turns that thing around. That program was a shithole when he took over that, and it took him no time. But once again, we got to see a larger sample size from him, I think.
That's the thing too, is that look, it's not coaching at Alabama is not coaching at UW. It's just not. So
it's not. So recruiting should be easier for him. It should be easier for him to get better players, but this recruiting is also going to be more of a war at Alabama than what it was at Washington, if that makes any sense.
All right, well, let's move on to number 3. We both agree with DeBoer at 4. At 3, I've got Brian Kelly. Okay. And I have Brian Kelly because the guy's won everywhere he's went. My big thing, though, is what Uncle Lou was saying earlier. If the regular season ended November the 15th, Brian Kelly could make an argument that he could be the number 1 coach in the country because he's great. It's just when it matters, he has sucked ass. He has no New Year's 6 wins. In the playoffs, his team just looked out of sync wherever he's at. He hasn't won a conference title. He's 0-2 in conference title games, whether it was at Cincinnati or in the SEC. So for me, that puts him at 3 for me there. And it's all because his teams just don't do it when it comes to playoff time.
Okay. I've got Sark at number 3. Making the playoffs matters. I think he's brought some really good talent to Texas, using the transfer portal well. Um, I can't rank him any higher than this because with him too, it's kind of still a small sample size. He was head coach, kind of. I'm not gonna say failed, but he had some issues. Bumped himself back down to an offensive coordinator. Now he's elevated his coaching status back up again. Um, so, but I think that's a solid 3 in my book. I still think you have a little bit more to go on there than you do Kalen DeVore.
Right. Well, moving on to my number 2, then I've got Lane Kiffin. I know that you're not a Kiffin guy, but I think that Kiffin gets players to come to the SIP, and they go. And he's been able to. It seems every year they play better. And I just right now, in the grand scheme of things, as far as he's been through a lot in SEC play, and in my opinion, he's the number 2 coach.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree that he's not a good coach. I think a shit human being. But I can understand now. I kind of can sympathize now a little bit. Maybe not sympathize, not rationalize it. But the whole deal with the Tennessee fans just throwing the damn fit with him, and
They hate
somebody
him.
throwing the damn golf ball at him. My only complaint is, why didn't you hit him? You missed him. Now I can understand why. He's I read into the story and I'd heard bits and pieces of it. I'd never really dove into it. But the way he left there was it was fucking wrong. It was shitty. And
Right.
Yeah, it's been 15 years ago, but I mean, no wonder they can't stand this guy.
Respectfully, though, this isn't the award for the best person. Okay, this is the award for the best coach.
Exactly, but okay, but that's true. But I don't see him being better than Sarkisian or Kalen DeBoer, or my number 2, or definitely my number 1. I think I've got him right where he needs to be at 5.
And that's fine. We can
I
agree.
I think that's a hell of a fine ranking.
Yeah, well, we can agree to disagree on that. I mean, I'd take Kiffin at 2, and then I think we both agree that Smart is number 1, right?
Yeah, I mean, my number 2 was Brian Kelly.
That's right.
I probably got him a little bit higher than some other folks do, but I mean, man's been doing it a long time. I mean, all-time wins leader at Notre Dame means something. Now, I mean, that could also be a product of, I mean, he just happened to be there for what? I mean, 10 years, 11 years. It's kind of there longer than pretty much anybody else has been either. But, couple of trips to the playoffs. What I mean, I get it. He didn't win them. When he's had opportunities that Notre Dame, he had the one opportunity at the conference championship, and he got boat raced. But I mean, he still beat that same team that year. I mean, I think he's a good, solid coach. And he's not a, it's just not a. It's not a brilliant offensive mind. It's not a brilliant defensive mind. I just see him as a really strong program builder, and I think he'll have that team back. I think he's probably going to win a national championship there at some point. I honestly believe that.
So we disagree a little bit here or there, but it's been fun doing this one this evening, though. I'm going to put the link over here if you guys want to agree or disagree. We'll take those calls really quick before we get out of here.
And Kirby Smart, of course, is number 1. It's hard to argue that.
He's lost, one game in 3 years, won 2 national titles in 3 years. Well, what else do you want? So,
Randall says, where did y'all rank Brian Kelly? Was he just not listening to the thing?
I think he may have checked out for a minute.
I had him at number 2.
Chris says that I put Kiffin there solely to piss off Tennessee fans. No, sir. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with that. I said good things about your coach. Said that Jackpot had him ranked behind Stoops. I think that he's a better coach than Stoops is right now. So don't be thinking that the world stops and ends with you. There's Chris now. Chris, welcome to the program, sir.
What's up, man? Kiffin at 2 is wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a leg to stand on with that because first of all, I think he's built a Ole Miss back up to being. Last year they won their bowl game, was against Penn State.
Do you think beating the third in the conference, Penn State, rates as a higher, better win than beating
Hey, watch out now.
the
I'm just kidding.
Clemson beating Clemson by Tennessee by Josh Heupel 2 years ago?
I think that he's. So, are you implying that you would have Heupel over him? Is what you're trying to come at me with?
I mean, if you look, Heupel is already outpacing Kiffin his first 3 years. So he's already got more wins than Kiffin. He's got a better win percentage because you kind of got the COVID year he went 500. Heupel went 7-6, so a little bit over 500. Heupel won 11 games the second year. Kiffin won 10, and then Kiffin won 8 games the third year. Heupel won 9. He's outpacing Kiffin, and he inherited arguably a worse situation.
Y'all had Jeremy Pruitt the COVID year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is Heupel is a year behind Kiffin, and Kiffin's got the head-to-head, but that was Heupel's first year after losing 40 players, and that was Kiffin's second year. My thing is, what's Kiffin's best win? Arguably a 9-4 LSU or Tennessee. That's probably his best regular season win in 4 years.
I like the LSU win. I can give you that.
Not, I mean, you're comparing him to a coach that went into Death Valley and beat the
once.
My coach went into Death Valley and beat the dog shit out of Brian Kelly in Death Valley. My coach beat Nick Saban, something that Kiffin says he's going to do every year, and he never did. Get your popcorn, boys.
Yeah, but he didn't let South Carolina hang 63 points on him. He didn't do that.
He's lost to Arkansas. He's lost to a coach that you have.
Did he lose by 63 points? Did he give up?
Tennessee didn't lose by 63 points. Tennessee lost by 25 points.
Did he give up 63 points, sir?
I don't know if he's given up 63 points yet. I'm not sure. I mean, is that your standard? He didn't give up 63 points to a fellow SEC team?
I'm just saying. I think that right now he's in a better spot. He's a better coach right now.
I mean, he'll be digging. Heupel has his quarterback of the future, and then the quarterback after that committed. Kiffin will be back in the portal begging a quarterback to come see him. Kiffin takes everybody's scraps. What cracks me up is everybody thinks that Kiffin's going to do all this great shit this year. He took a defensive tackle from Texas A&M that everybody complained was lazy. He took a defensive end from Florida that everybody said, hey, this guy takes plays off, he's lazy. And his defensive coordinator is a coach that everybody at Alabama said, hey, we lost all our discipline. We are so terrible and undisciplined under Pete Golding. But those three combined are now about to take the world by storm on defense. Sorry if I don't buy it, man.
And let's not forget about the guy from South Carolina who just decided he was going to quit in the middle of the season and take it off.
Pray to God he don't get his toe grazed in the end zone, and then he's out for the rest of the season.
If that's me, I don't want somebody like that.
At 2, you could argue them side by side, and you could say, well, Kiffin's got a year on him, and he's got the head to head, so I'm gonna put him. But 2, bro, above playoff coaches, Kiffin might not have made the playoff last year.
Look, and we can agree to disagree on things. It's just the way that I see it. If you're telling me,
I agree.
Pick your coaches 1 through 16. The first one I'm going to go with is Kirby Smart. And then if I hire somebody else, I'm going to go with Kiffin next. Then after that, it's kind of there's no big drop between 2 and 5 with me, okay?
I feel you. I mean, it's all for discourse and debate. I just think, if Dabo Swinney left, if he retired tomorrow, I just feel like you would want Lane. If Dabo Swinney retired tomorrow and they said every coach is available except Kirby Smart, I don't think Lane Kiffin would be your first choice.
Lane Kiffin, well, from the SEC, yes, he would.
I find it hard to believe, but it's your opinion, man. I just find it hard to believe, but that's your opinion.
Look, and my thing with Heupel, and I give you guys shit about it, but Heupel has to overcome the fact that the offense that he puts out there, having the defense to keep up with it. And by what I mean by that is that you're going to have a lion's share of depth, because if his offense is on point, your defense is going to be on the field a lot. And in the fourth quarter, that's going to wear some folks out.
Lane Kiffin
from a long time ago where, hey, we're going to win games 160 to 140.
Well, Lane Kiffin went and stole Lebby from Heupel to run Heupel's offense at Ole Miss when he got the Ole Miss job. If you go look, Tennessee is usually number 1 in tempo, plays per minute, and Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are number 2. They're usually like milliseconds apart. Like, he's literally running the great value version. His defense gives up more points than Heupel's. That's the thing, is everybody's like, oh, well, Heupel's defense is tired and gives up all these points. There's not been a year that Lane Kiffin's defense did not average up more points per game given up than Heupel's since they've been there. So you could say that, but Lane Kiffin is literally running the same offense.
Okay, well, but it's not the same offense.
It's the veer and shoot, bro. He went and got Lebby, who is the son-in-law of Art Briles. He had Kendall Briles initially to run it, and Kendall wanted a better job than FAU, and so he went and got Jeff Lebby from UCF, who Josh Heupel had, and they're running the same offense. The man literally spends his holidays with Art Briles talking about the shoot and veer. They run the same offense, man. But because it's Lane Kiffin, everybody's like, it's not a gimmick. But Heupel runs it and has more success with it than Lane Kiffin does, and it's a gimmick.
I just like Lane Kiffin better, man.
Fair enough, man. And at the end of the day, that's all you can say. I said it in the chat. You picked Lane Kiffin to get this rise out of Tennessee
I think
fans.
it's going to be. No, I don't just pick shit to piss off Tennessee fans. In the end, it doesn't matter. I mean, you guys, look, the last time my team played you, we had to go with our hat in our hand. Okay? It's not about pissing off Tennessee fans. I don't understand why you guys have such a hard-on for Lane Kiffin anyway. Yes, almost 2 decades ago. Let it go. You think your coach is better now?
Yeah, I'm happier with my coach now. I think it's ridiculous that literally Josh Heupel runs an offense. It's a gimmick. Lane Kiffin literally tries to steal that offense, and it's, oh my God, he's the greatest offensive mind. Josh Heupel goes out and hires great assistant coaches that don't have fucking bad shit to their name. Lane Kiffin goes out and says, hey, DJ Durkin, I know you're unemployed because you killed a kid. You want to come coach it out at Ole Miss with me, buddy?
Ooh,
Lane Kiffin literally the stuff that Les Miles got let go for, letting fucking college girls bang high schoolers. That's what Les Miles got fired at Kansas for. Lane Kiffin was doing at Tennessee. But nobody wants to go after Lane Kiffin because he's successful and he's not sub 500 like Les Miles was at Kansas. But Lane Kiffin is a dirtbag, dude. Lane Kiffin is a lesser coach than 5 of the coaches you named on that list.
Okay. And that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and go blow for blow with you here because.
Am I talking crazy, Jackpot? You're just like, I know you like to see the debate. Am I talking crazy here?
No, not entirely. No.
He's got your coach ranked behind Stoops, sir. The king of the MAC.
I asked you that too. I said that was crazy too. But hell, Stoops and Lane Kiffin got the same amount of 10-win seasons.
Hold on, sir. What's more crazy here? Having the Kentucky coach where Tennessee literally throat fucks them every single year, having that coach ahead of your coach, or you just coming to me because I've got Kiffin above your coach. I
think they're both ridiculous.
Barking to the wrong guy here, bro.
I could debate with Jackpot too. I think Jackpot's more open to changing his mind on things, though. I think if you laid out the facts, he would change his mind.
In my defense here with that one, he's one spot higher.
Yeah, he's not.
We're not ranking the human baked potato number 2 or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. Above DeBoer and dudes. And my thing with DeBoer is him and Mark Helfrich literally in the Power 5 have the identical first 2 year runs. Like Mark Helfrich, everything DeBoer's done in Power 5 football, Mark Helfrich done, and that dude can't get a job anywhere. So we still need to see what DeBoer's going to be beyond Penix, like, and outside of the Pac-12. Like my thing is Bo Nix and Michael Penix were getting absolutely beat up and molested in the SEC and the Big Ten, and now they're Heisman contenders out in the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 doesn't play defense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why these dudes
off subject, but talking about coaches that can't get a job. Does anybody know what happened? Whatever happened to that coach that was at Washington State, the one that had come from Hawaii? And he was doing a pretty good job, and then they fired him a few years ago, remember, because he wouldn't take the COVID shot?
No, I know he sued him. I don't know if he won or not. I know he sued the piss out of him.
Rolovich, was that his name?
Yeah, he took he ended up he looked good early with Jarrett. He took Jarrett Guarantano off our hands, got him off the payroll, and they looked pretty good. And then Guarantano does what he always does since he left Tennessee and get hurt 3 games. Hell, he won Player of the Week in the UFL or USFL or whatever it is now, and then he got hurt the next week. So he's delicate, man.
What is Guarantano's record against South Carolina? I think it's pretty good.
Against South Carolina, I don't know. I know he lost. They lost. No, they won.
I remember a Jackpot video where Jackpot called him Guantanamo Bay. This motherfucker. I mean,
I think he was 2-2. Seriously,
no, he only started 3. He only started 3 years, so it would have had to been 2-1 or 1-2. I'm pretty sure he lost once.
2017.
Yeah, they lost in 2017 because they lost every SEC game that year.
They lost in 2018 to South Carolina. Won in 2020 or 2019. They won at Tennessee, like 41-21 or something. And then 2020, the COVID Tennessee won.
Oh, I guess he was 3-1. Oh,
it was 2-2.
2-2. He won. He lost. I thought they won in 2019.
Was he the quarterback the COVID year?
Yeah, I thought they beat y'all the COVID year. They beat you, Missouri.
They did. They won 31-24 or something like that.
But hell, that wasn't even him.
That was the opening game. Remember, it was the first game
it was.
season.
We won that game off special teams. He didn't even do anything. I think he was.
Yeah, that was right. That was Cam Smith, the drop your nuts dude. That was the first game he played. He fumbled that punt at the end.
Yeah, it wasn't Guarantano, but I like debating with you guys. I'm gonna get back here and shut the office down.
I appreciate you going blow for blow for me here, but it's just I just for some reason I think Kivin's great, and I don't know why.
Rob would go blow for blow with almost anybody.
Yeah, he's fun to debate. He's fun, but I'll holler at you guys Sunday if you got a show, and we'll see what's going on.
We're gonna do a show Sunday. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Chris. All right, there you go. Chris joining the program. Lots of comments over there. Look,
something popped across my feed. Something about some reporter said something about Caitlin Clark. I don't know. This has gotten crazy. But I was telling you, I sent Rob a picture earlier. That I went to the Food Line today to pick up some hot dogs and some stuff to make dinner for myself because I'm here by myself tonight. And they have some magazines there. She has her own magazine. Give
me to show the picture.
Dedicated to her.
Jesus.
And I open it up, and what do I see? It's a picture from last year. And she's shooting a free throw. I don't know if you can throw that up there, Rob. Maybe you
I'm
can.
working on it right now. Give me 1 second. That's coming. The picture Jackpot sent me, I was looking at it, I was like, what the hell? Hold on, let's see here. I got it coming. Hold on just a second. Let's see here. I thought I sent this earlier, but I didn't. Hold on, please.
In Kill 15 says Penix played for them. Yeah, he did.
All right, so let's bring up this picture here for Jackpot. So Jackpot sent this picture, and Jackpot, I'm gonna let you do your play-by-play here.
Mike Bridges says, "Aren't you tired of hot dogs?" No.
Stupid. Let's see here. Hot dogs are great. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's the picture that Jackpot sent me. Jackpot, tell us what that is, sir.
I mean, well, this is last year during the Final Four. I mean, don't you think she could shave those damn pits before she played in a damn game that important? And the whole nation is supposed to be in love with this chick, but she can't even shave her damn body hair.
So I got another picture I'm going to show you. All right, I'm going to put this up in just a second. So there's the one picture. Jackpot shows us that one. And then I've got one more I'm bringing to you right now. Hold on, please. Let's see here. So someone sent this earlier. And let's see here. Let's see if I can bring that up. Okay, here we go. All right, so Jackpot, who does she look like? Do you see who that is?
Oh, good God.
Dude, She looked. Everybody see that, right? Just saying. I saw that.
Oh
And I was
dear
like,
Lord.
my God, that's pretty close though, Jackpot. I'm not bullshitting you now. Come on now.
That could be Kim.
That I'm just saying that's who she looks like.
Let's say
Don't get mad.
country
Don't throw stuff at
country
me.
girl, and she probably doesn't shave. She probably doesn't. But Lord, you think you could shave your pits before a damn Final Four? That's crazy. I mean, who are you, Brian Knobs?
I don't know. I mean, Matthew says they could be kin, and I don't know. They look like sisters there. I guess I don't know, but that's who. I was like, someone put that out earlier, and I was like, oh, I got to bring that up on the show. Now I see it. I'm like, oh God, that is really close, really close.
Fire
There.
Evolve says, "Where's Mo Jackpot?" She went no second shift. She's getting off right about now, I think.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. There's that. Look, I hope we didn't piss too many people off with our rankings. I know Sunday I sent this to Jackpot, and we'll talk about it. There's talks about a super league, and not to blow the lid off that, but it's basically this proposed super league has like 10 team conferences or whatever, and the Southeast would have Clemson and South Carolina playing together.
With
And
like Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State, Miami, NC State, North Carolina, UCF, and Wake Forest. The South Division is absurd. Alabama,
Duke in there too.
Yeah, Duke, Florida State, Miami, NC State, North Carolina, South Carolina, UCF, Wake Forest, and Clemson.
Damn.
But then the South
Motley Crew.
Well, listen to the South Division: Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. I want to talk about.
I like our chances in that league better than I do the one we're in now.
I'm with you on that. I just think that I want to talk about this. This is proposed league that's out there. I don't know if we're going to get to that eventually, but it is interesting to say the least. And but the best thing I like about it is that if your football program doesn't compete at a certain level, you get relegated to a lower league. So if you're Vanderbilt and you go 2-10 4 years in a row, then guess what? You're not competitive at this level. Get the fuck out. I really, really like that. I know they use that in the soccer leagues overseas, and I don't want us to become a soccer thing, but
so they could conceivably go down to non-power status.
Right. You have your basically your super league stuff here, and then you'll have the other teams are in the under league division is what they call it. But
so they could be replaced with Tulane.
They could be replaced with a team like, Tulane, UNLV, UTSA, Liberty, James Madison, Boise State. I mean, teams like that. So we're definitely going to get into that. But I like the idea of relegation. If you're not competitive, get out.
Was SMU included in the power leagues? Or
yes, let me see where they have SMU here. Hold on.
Are they in the Southwest with Arkansas and Texas?
They're in the Southwest with Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech. So SMU's right there.
I saw where there's a new team in the state of Texas. It's going to be an FCS program to start. And they're going to start playing not this coming season, but next year. The UT Rio Grande Valley team, the Gauchos or something. Their helmets are pretty cool. And they've already built their stadium, and it's like this state-of-the-art place. So it looks like it would be pretty cool.
Well, but when you look at a team, and I use Vanderbilt as an example, but I think that, if we had the choice, we'd kick Vanderbilt out and bring in Boise State. That might be more competitive than Vanderbilt, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll have that definitely on Sunday night when we do a show on Sunday as we roll along. Appreciate everybody checking out the show as always. Jackpot, you got anything else before we leave?
I can't think of it. Have you ever been to Texas?
Yeah, once.
Okay.
I mean, Why not? You should go.
Just never been. I mean, I've been up and down the eastern seaboard. I've been as far north, I think, as Connecticut, right? And
Right.
of course, as far south as Key West. I've touched every state, but never been. I've never been west of Mississippi. So
Well, you should take that trip to Vegas. Maybe Uncle Lou could be your tour guide and tell you where to stay.
maybe you could. That would be exciting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've had a great show. We'll be back at it on Sunday. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later on.
Yeah.